What's going on, everyone? Vince the Engineer here. As you can see behind me, it's raining, and it's raining hard, and I have this ridiculous tarp on the lawn. I'm gonna tell you all about it, so stay tuned. So we're actually in the middle of a lawn renovation. I was anticipating this huge storm right here. It's dumping almost 2 inches of rain. We still have some time left before this ends, but I held off on seeding. If you've been following along, we've been going through an entire renovation here on the lawn. We've gotten to a point where we have spread 14 yards of topsoil, spread it, leveled it, and prepared it for seeding. However, I was watching the weather and I noticed a couple days out there was gonna be a huge storm, and here it is. So we will seed as soon as this storm is over, but I wanted to share with you how we are protecting the lawn and all of our hard work from erosion with this tarp. All right, so this tarp right here I picked up from Harbor Freight. It covers just over 1,600 square feet. It is a humongous tarp. I also have a few other tarps. I picked these ones up from Home Depot and borrowed some from my brother-in-law, actually, on the other side of the car there. But this is what I decided to do to try and eliminate erosion from this heavy rainstorm we had. Had some areas here that I didn't put any tarps over, and that actually did quite fine. And that's actually because I rolled it with this guy right here. This is a lawn roller. We've rolled the entire lawn, and I rolled it again before the storms. And I think that this was also a huge help. If you have a small area like I have here and you can get a big tarp like this, that's probably going to be your best method of protection. Some things to consider though: if you have steep slopes, you know, a tarp will help you. But if you're going to put a tarp over this area like this, just know that the flow or the runoff from that tarp, because now it's an impervious area, that's going to be a concentrated flow that's just going to be focused downstream of that tarp and cause erosion at that area. So if you don't have protection in place down there, you may have, or you may be chasing another issue down there. But this area right here behind us is pretty level, very minimal slopes, more higher at the sidewalk back here, but for the most part not hilly, fairly level. So we were well protected here. This worked out fine for us. But another thing that's good about using a tarp like this is you can clearly see after the rain is gone where the low spots are. Let me show you. So you can kind of see right here, this is somewhat of a low spot here. We've got some more ponding up there. It's a low spot. Now, I've already done my work with the soil. I'm not going to be chasing these low spots or anything. For me, these low spots are rather minimal, and maybe in the future, after the lawn is established, I could come back and throw some sand down and do a proper leveling with mason sand. That would be perfect for leveling those small spots, because the sand is finer and does a better job of finding level ground when you spread it out with a leveling rake like the Landsea Lawn Level tool. So this area here is actually on the side of the house. I was not able to protect this because I ran out of tarps, but you can see kind of the drainage pattern here. This is that little swale, and it starts to pond up right about here. So this is a low spot, but then it continues all along, and it eventually makes its way to that inlet right there. So I placed the tarps a little bit closer to those yard drains, to those inlets, because they actually have wrinkles in the tarp, and as the water flows over the tarp, any sediment that is coming along with the water is being pretty much held back by those little wrinkles in the tarp, and the sediment falls out of suspension. And it's one way of, you know, preventing the sediment from getting into the inlet. It's not trapping all of the sediment, and there are way other means of trapping sediment, like silt sock or silt fence and things like that. Even inlet protection, I could have put a cloth inside the inlet to protect it from sediment. But this is what I had on hand for this storm, and it seems to be working out really well. Overall, I'm really happy with the results from this tarp. It's really protected us here and prevented us from having to go back and redo a lot of the hard work that went in to getting to where we are right now, where we're at the point of seeding. We are ready to seed. So now I don't have to go back or regrade anything. This tarp really helped us out. And hopefully this video helped you out if you're going through a renovation like this. Hopefully, you know, maybe using a tarp like this or other means of erosion protection will help save you some time in your renovation, because these renovations can go on for a while, a month plus, with the amount of time it takes to establish a lawn from seed. So I hope these tips helped you. Keep following along. The next step is going to be seeding. That will happen very shortly here. So make sure you're subscribed and following along. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for joining.